Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP, in association with Savaged Unfiltered Podcast, TheLibertyBeacon.com, and I am your host, Joseph M Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show! This week, we're going to discuss music, TV, and politics. I cut that from the articles on movies because it was extending that article and would have made that show too long. So we're going to catch up on that now. But before I do indeed get into music, TV, politics, I wanted to mention, while we are several weeks past, the Barbenheimer, the combination of the Barbie and Oppenheimer movies, set some box office records for the first time in like 4 years. But yet SAG-AFTRA are out there on strike. Who knows by the time this show actually airs and this article comes out, if that may be over by then. This is expecting to hit on September 30th, but I really doubt SAG-AFTRA will have settled anything by then. But one never knows. The UPS strike was averted by a deal that nobody saw coming as quickly. SAG-AFTRA out on strike, going to hurt the movie industry, hurt the movie theaters, some of which were looking at permanently needing to go into bankruptcy to restructure and determine whether they were going to close permanently or not, finally got a reprieve from all their heartache and hard times and had that great Barbenheimer. Who knows if any other films for the summer and fall blockbuster type season will get another one of those to help keep them afloat. And the other thing is, They Live, being the 35th anniversary. I hope you had a chance to catch that in the theaters. If not, please rent it. Because again, that was an early John Carpenter film that involved aliens. Aliens were kind of the stand-in for the deep state, part of government that no matter who controls Congress and who controls the White House, they are still there trying to enact their fascocrat-style tyrannical governance over you, resisting any change, any return to our republic as it once was, our attempt to restore our American republic. I am about republicism, protecting the republic, not hyper-partisan republicanism, hack establishment, deep state crap. We need to indeed fight within the Republican Party, as I've said before, in order to make sure we bring it back to the solid conservative constitutional party platform. We as delegates, and if you're not a delegate, you need to become one, vote in place at the convention to have, but yet so many of the establishment rhino hacks ignore. And we must work together as delegates within the committees and at the county and state and federal conventions to get better candidates that will adhere to our party platform. This is a bit of an aside, I understand that. Like, let me mention Liz Cheney. Wyoming kicked Liz Cheney to the curb, rightfully in my mind, but not because she wasn't a solid platform Republican. She was. She's really a good Republican, but she suffered Trump derangement syndrome, and she allowed herself to be turned into an emotionally hysterical snowflake because of that. If you took Liz Cheney's voting record, erased her name, and took off the impeachment stuff, the impeachment votes, put her record in front of somebody and said, what do you think of this person? They would instantly say, this person needs to be our party nominee for president. This is a great voting record, like something like 95 percentile rating on all conservative groups that measure such things. On paper, she's great, except for, of course, her Trump derangement syndrome nonsense. After Trump's second term, which we all expect him to get the nomination for 2024, and if he can get elected president again, has a second term, maybe Liz Cheney can make a comeback once Trump is gone 4 years later out of the picture. Her voting record was pretty solid, but I've gone down another rabbit hole there. We were talking about the movies and They Live. The aliens, when you put on the special glasses and see them, it's like today if we had special glasses that people could put on and see the deep state actors. So John Carpenter had a movie that, in my opinion, was way before its time in dealing with political issues a lot of people overlook and look past and shouldn't be. Please rent it now. It's an important film now that you know the political aspects behind it. Regarding music, I'm hoping by the time this airs and the article comes out, this issue will also be all cleared up. What am I talking about? Getting into music, Jason Aldean and the Try That in a Small Town tune and video controversy, mainly the video, right, because of the crime in the streets scenes therein, and the left trying to all of a sudden make this all about race. Well, guess what? It was a songwriting team that wrote it. They showed it to Jason. He loved it. He was on the same page with them about it being pro-America, Americana. It is not anti-anyone in particular except anti-criminals, and about law and order, rule of law. But the left wants to make it about race. Well, if you see anti-blackism in that video, you are the racist, because those crime scenes don't show just black faces. It shows all kinds of different colored faces in those videos. It's about crime in general, not even about blackline Marxists or Antifa in general. Crime in general. It's nothing more than that. And the issue of trying to make this about the courthouse in the background that a lynching took place 100 years ago is nonsense. Jason didn't know that. The production team that scouted the location for the video had no idea. They chose it because it was nearby to them. It was convenient to shoot there. And that courthouse was made popular already for shooting because the Hannah Montana movie was shot there. There was also a Christmas movie that was shot there. If you haven't heard these facts already, is Hannah Montana racist now? I guess Miley Cyrus needs to be canceled as a racist. And I think Mariah Carey appeared in that Christmas movie. So I guess Mariah Carey, who was married to Nick Cannon for a while, who, if you don't know, is a black man, I suppose she's racist too, for having been in a Christmas film that took place with some shooting outside that courthouse. Spare us the bull bleep. We all know it's just garbage. They didn't know the lynching took place either until some nut went back and scoured that film to say, what can we say next after the crime in the street as all black people, and people saw the video and saw that that was a lie, was then dismissed. They needed some other bogus false narrative argument. Some idiot was able to go back into that history of that courthouse and find that. That isn't gaining much traction either, because again, the whole Hannah Montana and the Christmas movie thing, it's like, right, yeah, They purposely chose that courthouse because there was a lynching there. They'd like you to believe. And nobody is dumb enough to keep buying that. But hopefully by the time this airs, Country Music Television will have reconsidered their pulling of the video from their airwaves due to the backlash. If you've engaged in boycotting Country Music Television, good for you, even better, whether you boycott it or not. If you've engaged in sending them letters, emails, postcards, filling up their voicemail with messages, not of hate, no threats, don't do that, but let them know they're caving to this cancel culture, wokeism, false narratives, pathetical corruptness, as I call the PC culture, is not acceptable. We will not stand for it, and your bottom line is now going to hurt. We're going to win and where we can, not watch your station, let your ratings drop, and hopefully maybe even get you pulled cable carriers. Get your channel canceled. You want to cancel Jason? All right, we cancel you. Turnabout is fair play here. It's the only thing they understand is money. These corporations need to be made to hurt. They're chasing, as we discussed in the Bidenomics episodes, they're chasing these ESG pennies. Meanwhile, we need to make sure dollars flood out through their back door and they hurt and learn a lesson. The other thing is television. We need some positive shows back. I always loved the streets of San Francisco when I was growing up. Now, of course, the problem is San Francisco has gone to hell. We can't have a return to the streets of San Francisco show, which would show all this garbage in the streets going on. Also, Adam 12, an emergency took place in California. We've seen the reboot of Hawaii Five-0 and the reboot of Magnum PI. Now, full disclosure, I don't watch those, but I'd love to move Adam 12 out of California, maybe put it in a more red state, a more rural, but it can't be too rural, right? It needs to be a big city in a red state to really show what's going on and be a positive back the blue message so that we can get those positive messages again. But move it out of California. And some final thoughts. Again, I mentioned we need to roar, right? Restore our American Republic. And you can indeed go to savagedarmy.com and find shirts and other things with that message. Wear those to show that you're on the side of make America great again. Not America alone, but America first. Not America only. And I mentioned Roland Emmerich, my favorite director. Well, I guess I just said it. I guess he is my favorite director. I love all his films. The Stargate movie, the Independence Days, The Day After Tomorrow, even though it was a climate hustle, base kind of garbage. All his films. Of late, Moonfall, that was hurt at the box office, hurt his revenue. It was meant to be a big blockbuster like Independence Day and all those others, like a Stargate. But unfortunately, it got hurt by COVID. And Moonfall is great if you get the chance to see it. It's based on not the hollow earth theory, but the fact that maybe the moon is artificial and hollow. He didn't create the theory, just like he took Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the God and the ancient aliens theory to make the movie Stargate of pyramid-shaped ships landing on pyramids in Egypt as their landing platforms. He took the hollow moon theory because when we left the moon, we dropped objects on it and it rang like a bell, suggesting it was hollow. So he used that concept, that theory, for his movie Moonfall, and I highly recommend it. But I'm mentioning him again because I watched the movie Cellular the other day with Noah Emmerich, Chris Evans, Jason Statham, William H. Macy, Kim Basinger, and more. A great blockbuster film. This was back a while smartphones were just starting to come into the picture, where our regular phones were getting far more technological abilities to take pictures and drop less calls and that. So the movie was great about someone who's been kidnapped, and there's a phone that was busted, and she puts together the wires and accidentally gets someone's cellular phone, and their interaction, and him, Chris Evans, trying to help save her. Great film if you get a chance to rent it. But Noah Emmerich was in that, and also Toby Emmerich had something to do with that. And I just wanted to mention, people generally know those names due to Backwash and The Walking Dead, but they are not related to Roland Emmerich. There's a separation there, but it seems like the Emmerich name is something worth paying attention to anytime you see an Emmerich of any shape or form having to do with a project. It turns out to be something great. That's what I wanted to talk about today. There's a whole lot more, of course, about movies, music, TV, and the political aspect, because we do see that in our TV shows today, all the wokeism. I did indeed see Oppenheimer. I walked out early. It's 3 hours. It felt like 5 hours. I walked out like 45 minutes left in the film. I saw enough of it. It was plenty. I enjoyed what I saw, but I didn't think I needed to see the rest of that film. And there are other movies that are 3 hours, but they move so well, they flow so well, they don't feel like 3 hours. Oppenheimer felt like it was going on forever. And yes, I did see the Barbie movie, which is a very weird mishmash of messages. Yes, there's definitely some wokest messages, but there's also some conservative messages in there. They show Midge, the pregnant Barbie, a family value Barbie that indeed did get canceled. It's not available now. I'm sure if you can get your hands on a Midge, it's probably worth a lot of money. And they showed in the ending credits the pregnant Barbie with the baby in the womb. So it's a mishmash. It's not really pro anything or anti anything. It's just like a spaghetti with a bazillion different noodles, and hope that it goes down well, that it tastes well, and people will like it. People indeed are loving it. It's a pure entertainment value movie, as a movie really should be. A lot of time we talk about wokeism in movies, but it isn't always fair. Like the last Halloween movies, I was very upset with, because they had a gay couple living in Michael Myers' old home. It had zero to do with the storyline. It was clearly just pandering and unnecessary. But then you take M. Night Shyamalan's last film, Knock at the Cabin, which had a gay couple in the film in the cabin. But this time, it was really actually essential to the story. It wasn't a pandering woke movie. It was needed, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but it questions, it plays at the brain to make you think, who is doing what for what reasons? Are their motivations actually indeed pure or not? And the best way to demonstrate that was through how M. Night Shyamalan delivered the movie. So I applaud him for it. Normally, yes, I would attack a movie like Lightyear with the lesbianism, the pure pandering there to have the kiss scene. So people tried to boycott the Lightyear movie, although, kids want to see the Lightyear movie and probably don't pay much attention to that, although that's part of their thing, to subconsciously get into people's brains, reinforce the woke agenda going on in the schools so it isn't strange to them. We have to be careful and not overreact when we see these things. Like when you hear there's a gay couple in the cabin in Knock at the Cabin, not overreact and assume it's just a wokest film. Or like the Day After Tomorrow film from Roland Emmerich, just assume he's some climate hustle hoaxer guy. No, it was just a premise for the film, for a great action film, a great setting. It doesn't mean he's on board with the climate hustle. We have to be careful, pick and choose our battles, unlike the last Matrix film, which I discussed before. Matrix creator got in a dust-up with Elon Musk on Twitter, which is now called X. Are we tweeting? Are we Xing? Are we what? That's a whole other thing. I didn't discuss that in my social media show. Who knows what's going on there? The man's a genius, though. Who knows? And he needs to make it turn a profit. He's about profit as well as free speech. Time will only tell on that. The thought here, overreacting, not assuming Roland Emmerich is some climate hustle clown because of his The Day After Tomorrow movie. It was just a great premise to create an action movie, a suspense drama. So we have to be careful and look at the people like the Matrix creator after that dust up with Elon said he was going to pander to the Rainbow Alphabet Mafia. The character's name is Switch, as in switch genders, as in trans. He literally said Matrix 4 is a trans allegory film. And that's not the only thing. There's a scene where they attack conservatives, people on the right, with a bunch of stereotypical anti-conservative tropes about what the left tries to stereotype and think it is what we believe in. All this anti-woman agenda, the racist, sexist, homophobic, blah, 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 blah agenda. There is that. We have to be careful and make sure we examine the people behind it and their actual motivations apart from their actual film or music or television show in general. Sometimes people just write something. I, as an author, I've put things in my books, not because it is something in my head, something that I believe in, something that I want to promote, but because it makes for good storyline fodder. It helps move along the storyline. Fiction means you're dealing with fictional characters which take artificial stances. And that is true of some of these situations and characters in the movies. So please be conscious of that and hold our powder dry, as the saying goes, not have a left-wing snowflake, emotionally hysterical reaction, a knee-jerk reaction when we see something. Be sure we get our facts straight. We engage in knowledge and learning before we criticize too heavily or add a caveat. This is before I've really fully researched something. This is my initial reaction. It could change if someone presents more information to make me think a little differently. I'm about to be joined with Michael Gardner yet again. But before I do that, I, of course, need to do the obligatory plea for you to please like and subscribe to the ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast and Savaged Unfiltered, of which Michael Gardner joins us from, as well as, of course, please share some episodes with family, friends, total strangers on the street, especially via email and your social media, because as of this show. This is just the 15th episode. I need your help in building my audience, building my following. So please like, subscribe, and share episodes. So how's it going down there in Florida today, Michael?
Well, it's raining here, miserable clouds. It's every day. It's like the same weather pattern from I want to say like 2 o'clock up to like 8 p.m. So it's terrible. I'm just enjoying the weather outside here.
It's like 175 degrees down there right now, huh?
Oh no, not right now. It just started pouring right now. So
So it cooled off quite a bit. Yeah, yesterday we had like a land typhoon. I thought my flagpole was like leaning at a 45-degree angle. I thought one of them 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts was going to launch it like a missile down the street. But anyway, thanks for joining me again. I first wanted to ask you your thoughts on the Jason Aldean controversy.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ed Bondarenka, and I host Your American Heritage on Saturdays at 2 in the afternoon on this station. Your American Heritage is a show about the struggle we find ourselves in and how to react to it in the light of our biblical and American heritage. Listen to it while you're working around the house, the garage, cleaning the guns, walking the dog, driving, or just lazing around. Join me at 2 o'clock Saturdays here on Wham Radio, 1600 AM, 92.7 FM.
God bless America.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Jason. He's like one of those celebrities that are like a hit and miss. I don't know. I classify him as like a one-hit wonder. I mean, I really do. I'm not a big fan of his country music. Really am not. I mean, Willie Nelson, all the classic greats. Those are the people I listen to, you know. Jason Aldean, I don't know, man. He's different, you know?
Yeah, he's more a country rock, like a Garth Brooks. So you're more an old school country.
Yeah, I'm old school, but I also like the new stuff. Like I'll listen to Kid Rock. You know, I think Kid Rock is very patriotic. You know, I like a lot of Kid Rock's new songs and stuff like that, where he's making fun of Joe Biden, which I think is hilarious. But you know, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Jason Aldean. I did see a lot of backlash coming from his music video where they're trying to edit, where I think they did edit a lot of the Black Lives Matter stuff. Yeah.
They're trying to, of course, distort and distract and deflect and deny and take it all out of context. All of a sudden it's racist, like that courthouse. There was a Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana film there, and also I think Mariah Carey was in a Christmas movie there. So I guess tell Nick Cannon, who was married to Mariah Carey, she's racist.
I guess so. Like if you don't agree with them, you know, they come up with the stupidest nonsense in this world. It really is. It's just straight up nonsense. You know, if they don't agree with you, oh, you're like, you know, you're racist, or you're a homophobe, or this and that. I mean, it's just, Joseph, it's nonsense. You know, when is this stuff going to stop, man?
When are people going to wake up and stop falling for this crap? That's the problem. There are so many Democrats that continue to fall for this crap. And the next thing I wanted to ask you, you're younger. Do you remember the show Adam 12?
Adam 12. No, that does not ring a bell.
No, it was a pair of cops, and their squad designation was Adam 12. And the reason I bring it up is this show has to do with TV. How nice it would be, like the Jason Aldean video being pro rule of law, how nice it would be to bring back a show like Adam 12 and actually support rule of law and our cops for a change. What's a TV show you'd like to see brought back?
The Honeymooners, the Jeffersons, the Jetsons. I mean, the Jetsons were like, they nailed everything on the bat, you know, with all future technology. I mean, with Skype and Zoom and, smart TVs. That was all the Jetsons. That was in the 60s. I love the Jetsons to come back. I would love like the old TGIF Friday lineup to come back, Family Matters and Full House, all those shows, Joseph, they explained like fundamentals of America. They taught strong household principles.
Yes.
All that stuff was all on those shows, Boy Meets World, Step by Step, all those great shows.
Values, principles. Now they rebooted Full House.
Did they? Oh yeah, Fuller House. It's on like Netflix.
Right. But that's the problem. It's on one of those streamers. And since you're an actor and a movie guy, both in front of and behind the camera, I gotta ask you lastly about the Barbenheimer records. They're calling it Barbenheimer. Have you heard that? Barbie and Oppenheimer weekend set records.
Yeah. I don't know. I just got off the phone with our good friend Sas, cousin Sas of Savaged Unfiltered, and he said the same thing. Sas and I, we're not big fans of the whole Barbie movie. I think it's trash. I think it's a waste of production. I really do. The sales, I'm told, are doing somewhat okay. I mean, it's gonna attract that certain audience level.
I actually saw it. It wasn't horrible. I saw it at my MJR theater. I saw Oppenheimer. I left with like 30, 45 minutes left because it just dragged on forever. I saw enough of it. It just dragged forever. But
you wasted a movie ticket to go see that garbage.
Well, I saw them on Tuesday, free popcorn Tuesday, $5 and free popcorn Tuesday at MJR. So I didn't invest a whole lot. And the Barbie was actually kind of funny. As I go into the episode before this interview will be tacked on, there's a lot of different things in the Barbie movie. It's almost that, they try to be all things for all people. And usually when you do that, you upset everybody and you hurt yourself, but it's doing well. The theaters need this. They're hurting.
It's pandering to China, Of course, they got to throw that in there because it's a Martell company, and
that flag,
they have to support their creator, so to speak, right? I seen a couple liberal shows the other day. Our good friends at the View, they were like, I don't know why America is showing so much backlash from the Barbie movie, and then Indiana Jones. And they seem to love the Sound of Freedom versus Indiana Jones. Why are they not liking Indiana Jones, and this and that? Well, because it's woke garbage. Indiana Jones kind of sold out to the woke agenda.
Well, I didn't notice that. I saw all 4 of the movies we've talked about. I didn't see that. I just think the Indiana Jones, there was too much time between the last one and this one. It's kind of played.
Yeah, there was a huge time lapse.
Yeah, I think Indiana Jones would have done a lot better had Sound of Freedom not been out. A lot of people that would be interested in this show and your show would have been potential customers for Indiana Jones.
Just earlier today, that episode aired on iHeart. The episode 284, Cousin Sash Returns. We just, you and I, Joseph, we just discussed this on the show, with the whole Barbie and, like what the hell is, these islands doing in the damn movie and this and that.
I mean, that's completely irrelevant to the script. It's pure pandering to China, and they put it there knowing most people will have zero clue what the heck that
they won't pick it up. They'll have like a 5 or 6 year old mentality, like when we were watching The Wizard of Oz and you would see the Munchkin background being hung on the tree. 5, 6 years old, you can't pick that up right away. Right. There's like the hitting stuff, but
exactly. Well, I know you got to get back on the road again.
Yeah, I don't mean to keep on. If it's all right, Joseph, I'm drinking a big gulp, so that's why I'm always doing this. You see Joseph's camera, I'm like,
well, I've got my Soda Stream root beer right here, so
yeah. I'm giving Joseph a free publicity here for a big gulp there.
All right, well, thanks. Take care. I'll talk to you again Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Yeah, not this Saturday, guys. You could check out Joseph next Saturday on the live stream on Rumble and YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. And
yeah, you're going out of town, you said? You heading back to Atlanta for family again, or is this a vacation?
No, this is a vacation for myself, Joseph. I need it. Yeah, I'm leaving this Friday night, and I won't be back until next Thursday. So,
all right,
I'm going down to Miami for almost a week, just about a week.
Yeah. So, just as an insider behind the scenes here, this is actually being recorded on July the 27th, Thursday. So yes, actually, Mike will be back, and there will be a live Savaged Unfiltered on Rumble, and hopefully soon back to TikTok Live. So that'll be what, Rumble, Twitch, and what's the other one?
Yeah, the live stream platforms, folks, are Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok. So that'd be 5 altogether.
Yeah, that's great. So again, people, thank you for tuning in. And again, like and subscribe to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast and Savaged Unfiltered. Maybe even go back a few years and dig up some old The Patriot Angle shows with Michael Gardner.
God, yeah. And our dinosaur library of that show.
Yeah. And of course, share episodes. We need your help to grow the shows. Take care, everybody. God bless. Thank you for having tuned into ChristiTutionalist Politics Show. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at TheLibertyBeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. In addition to seeing the corresponding TheLibertyBeacon.com piece referenced in any episode of ChristiTutionalist Podcast, see to the show transcript on podcast platforms that provide access to it, like Buzzsprout at tinyurl.com/ChristiTutionalist for additional bonus material there in the transcript.
It is a myth that terrorism stopped during COVID. Unfortunately, mainstream media opted to prioritize pandemic hysteria over promoting all news. Terrorism continues. Simply hoping that it doesn't affect you is not a strategy. The new book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you, featured on The Author Show, is now available in paperback from bookstores, online, or as an ebook exclusively through Amazon Kindle. Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you by Joseph M Lenard. Order today.